All right, looks like we are live. Welcome, everybody. It is Saturday. It is Puka. It is 30 below for real in northern Minnesota. So it is weta, and it kind of sucks, to be honest with you. So I wish I was in Florida with some of our local racers and race fans. It'd be a lot more fun, but we're stuck here grinding it out at 30 degree below weather. But of course, we've been here before, but not this year. It's been a pretty darn nice winter this year. Yeah, we're into February here, and so I don't know. I think that I can't see us having, too many more cold spells. I think this is probably it. It's kind of like the first and the last. It'd be pretty rare to get something really bad in March. So, but anyway, yeah, here we go. Early February, got Super Bowl. Talk a little bit about the Clay by the Bay, some Florida stuff, some Volusia stuff, and all that good stuff. But of course, I always just want to thank our partners to start with. Dirt Track Supply, been with us a long time. Get a hold of Trev, all your parts, etc. Aero chassis. We've talked about C4. This is like the pre-workout. I brought out the aminos. This will keep you fueled up. Hopefully, you're sticking to your resolutions. Of course, you got the energy drinks. But if you're doing the resolutions, you need protein, aminos, pre-workout. They got all kinds of shakes and powders. If you just, and I'll have the show links here below. But like I said, I like the pre-workout stuff. This is all good stuff. And then, of course, Chomps. We talked about Chomps before. Good partner. I got a box of Chomps here somewhere back in my desk here. Here. Chomps. This is the turkey. This is the stuff I like. So this is all that good stuff. So Whole30, gluten-free, certified paleo, no sugar, free-range turkeys. And we've actually got some news coming up with these guys. No gluten, nuts, soy, milk, or pork. No fillers, no nitrites added. So this is the real deal. This is the good stuff. You can kind of see some of that label. But anyway, so good stuff. And like I said, we have some news on them. We'll get to that in a week or two. But yeah, so anyway, want to touch base with everyone. Say hi. Like I said, hashtag no days off. Saturday, been grinding all day, getting some tax stuff together. Oh, speaking of that, I've got... here we go. So numbers. So I was getting some shit from some people, on hashtag no days off, and I just kept saying, hey, and I've told all of you, it's a year of Corona, don't give up, you got to keep grinding. 2020 will be much easier if you can get through 2020. If actually you can grow through 2020, if you can go through a pandemic, grow through the tough times, it should be a lot better when we get through it. No, I'm not so sure we're going to get through it in 2021. It's still going to be lingering, but at least, I was just kind of looking at my numbers. I guess you'd call it like a finance segment. We grew 19%. So huge growth there in a terrible year. We've got, outdoor billboards. Got a partner with that. We got a company that does that. Was actually pretty flat, which we were happy with because one of the first things people do in business when times get tough is they cut their ad budget. So we were flat there. We have a distribution company, and we directly benefited for some of those stimulus checks. I think many racetracks did the same, but 53% top line revenue growth of our distribution company. So phenomenal. I couldn't believe it. And then, of course, we have, the One to Go show, the Tea with Ms McGill we're going to talk about, but that's all in that GOAT Sports Media umbrella. So that's kind of the new venture, and the newest venture of the new venture is the Tea with Ms McGill podcast. So that is a podcast only. And for those of you that are into hockey, especially high school hockey, a little bit of college, NCAA stuff around Minnesota, kind of that NCHC, a little bit of WCHA. Tea with Ms McGill, Spotify, Apple, jump over there, subscribe. We've noticed some really rapid growth. We've done 5 episodes, I believe, now. We were supposed to get started in November. Of course, I've talked about it, teased it a little bit on here, but with all the pauses and such, we just couldn't get going. So, but the Tea with Ms McGill podcast, if you like hockey, so you want to jump over there, podcast only, no YouTube or Facebook or anything yet on that. We might do something with that down the road. But like I said, we've had huge growth. It took us 3 or 4 months, I believe, with the One to Go show to get on the Apple platform, because you have to get a certain amount of listens before they just let you on, and it took us like 2 weeks with the Tea with Ms McGill. And if you're a hockey person, you know what Tea with Ms McGill is. If you don't, I guess you can YouTube it or something. But for those of you hardcore hockey people, you know what we're talking about with Tea with Ms McGill. And just a little bit on hockey. I'm like up here in northern Minnesota, and Grand Rapids, the Grand Rapids Thunderhawks is a pretty nice looking squad. As a matter of fact, as I'm talking here, I did not check their score. They were up in Roseau last night, who is another team that's in the top 10 for AA hockey in Minnesota. They squared off up in Roseau last night. But like I said, that Jack Peart for Grand Rapids, Mr. Hockey candidate, they're saying possibly a first or second round draft pick. It seems a little high to me based on what that Scott Perunovich did a couple of years ago. He had to play a year of college before he got drafted, and Jack is not much bigger than Scotty, but we'll see. But he definitely is a great talent. Like I said, World has a great team. Roseau has a great team. Duluth East a little bit down. Grand Rapids put 30. I think they were shot 37-7 last week on that. And I did catch a Pee Wee game last week, and actually a couple of them, but it's been 30 years since I've seen Pee Wee hockey, and it was pretty exciting. So Pee Wee hockey, for those of you not familiar, that's like a 12 and 13-year-olds. So like your 6th and 7th grade group, and that was a bunch of fun. It was a classic Iron Range matchup, Grand Rapids, Hibbing. Hibbing led most of the game, probably outshot them, but came down to the end, and if I'm remembering right, I think Grand Rapids tied it up, then Hibbing went up by 1, and then Grand Rapids tied it again. They went to OT, and I was with one of the players' grandpas, and I said, well, how these overtimes go. They usually end in less than a minute, and Hibbing dumped the puck into the Grand Rapids zone. Grand Rapids turned it, broke out, went down, first shot in, so Grand Rapids won that tournament. But we covered it last week's show if you want to hear more detail. This week's Tea with Ms McGill will have, we're going to talk about, they've figured out a playoff format now in Minnesota for hockey. They figured out as of right now, they're having a state tournament. We're going to talk a little bit about that. So like I said, get over there, subscribe to with Ms McGill. All right, so then back on to racing. Clay by the Bay, everything's kind of done. Bubba Raceway Park, Clay by the Bay down in Florida. Nothing really stood out there. It was kind of the usual stuff. You kind of thought Tyler Erb would come in with some speed. I guess Bronson probably underperformed just a little bit for him, it being his home track. Shane Clanton, there's one thing you can say about Shane Clanton. When he qualified well, and when he starts in the front row, he knows how to get a good start. A couple nights when, I think one night was at East Bay, and then one night was at Bubba, where, he basically won the heat race right off the start. Get nice, not jumping per se, but knows how to get a nice smooth start, and, takes the lead and goes. I don't know if Cody Mallory's really helping Bobby Pierce too much. Obviously, it's early. Pierce had some nights where he kind of came through the field, but like my buddy on the One to Go show, Ryan Aho, says, he's kind of the fly swatter, and he's kind of all over the place, and he definitely was. He's like one of those guys that needs to change a quarter panel just about every night. So I don't know. We'll see. The jury's still out on the Cody Mallory experience. One guy that's got speed, though, I'll tell you, is Devin Moran. Devin Moran showed that he's got speed. He just kind of needs to put it all together. He needs to qualify better, a little bit better in the heat races. And then there's Brian Shirley, started up front for a couple of nights, and I just don't know if Brian Shirley's kind of got to get it done at that Lucas/World of Outlaw level. I think some of our Wazota guys, if they had the Brian Shirley equipment, would have better odds of winning a Lucas race. I mean, for instance, Diemel is a Lucas Oil late model winner, and I don't know if Shirley ever has. Of course, he raced the series for a while last year, dropped off. Like I said, he had some good runs. He started on the pole a couple of nights. One night he was taken out, but does he really have it? Is it in the cards for Brian Shirley? I'm not so sure that he's going to get it done at that level, but be interesting to see. So now next week, the sprints are at Volusia right now, and then Wednesday the late models will fire back up over there in Florida, so you'll be able to catch a lot of racing again this week, which up here, like I said, in Minnesota, it's going to be nice to have something on TV because this cold weather, when I looked yesterday, our highs Friday of next week, I think the high was -3 or something like that, so it's not going to get any better. Okay, so Super Bowl, let's see here. I kind of wanted to get the numbers where we're at here with Brady. Brady being Brady. So given, because, now, of course, this is such a weird, add to the weirdness of everything with COVID and everything, the first ever Super Bowl home game for the Bucks. So they're given, basically it's +3 Tampa, which means they're predicting the Chiefs by 3. Boy, that's a tough bet because that Tom Brady, gamblers have lost more money because of Tom Brady than probably any single athlete out there. When he was 35, he was too old. And then when he was 38, he was too old. And then when he was 40, he was too old. And then when he was 43, like right now, he's too old. And he continues to defy the odds. I mean, even just look at the beginning of the year. There's no way the Buccaneers are going to make the Super Bowl, right? Brady's showing up. And they can't practice, right? They can't practice because of COVID. He's got a new coach. He's got a new system. Then they do end up bringing in Gronk, but there's no way they can make it. There's just not enough time. You just can't figure that out in a year. It's all brand new. He's been with Belichick so long. Well, then here he is in the Super Bowl. So Chiefs may win. Are they going to win by 3? This is a tough, really, really tough one to bet. I don't think I'm going to bet the game. There's some other things you can bet on the app that I use, but I don't think I'm gonna place a bet today on that. Sure, Brady. Yeah, but he's durable. I mean, he's 43, but he's damn durable. We've seen that he's durable. The other thing to remember, people were kind of shocked he went to Green Bay and won. Well, his whole career he's played in Boston. He played, think about that 0-2 the first year. We weren't in the Super Bowl, 0-2? I think was the first one, the 0-1 season, the 0-2 Super Bowl. That was the snow game against the Raiders. You can check that out on YouTube. Brady's played outside cold temps a lot. So when they added to Green Bay, and Gronk the same thing. So that was one thing that I thought of right away was, they're coming from Tampa, they're soft. You're facing Aaron Rodgers at home, of course, which is huge. Nobody wants to face Aaron Rodgers at home. But we knew that Brady was used to the elements. Gronk's used to the elements. So he's a very durable athlete, obviously. He's 43. But like I said, Mahomes is a stud. Andy Reid's a stud. I don't know if you saw today. So what was it? Andy Reid's grandchild in the hospital, multi-car crash with his son who's on the coaching staff. And it sounds like he's going to be okay. And I just saw it on the scroll. But the child is in there with some, I think, possibly, don't quote me on this, but like some brain trauma, some retinal issues with the eyes. So that's terrible. So now all of a sudden you get an Andy Reid, distraction. Obviously, his son probably will be on the sidelines, but maybe not. So, you've got some distractions and issues there. So I don't know. Like I said, I think the game is too hard to bet on. Vegas is playing it pretty tight, but there's some other things I think I'm going to bet on. There's different ways you can bet. The Super Bowl's so huge. So if you're going to get your bet on, my advice is maybe steer clear of the game. And GameStop. Yeah, I don't know if I'd bet on that either, but I can't really comment on that. So with that should wrap us up. This is probably kind of what we're going to do for February here. But like I said, if you're a hockey fan, head over Spotify, Apple, or any of the favorite places you podcast Tea with Ms McGill. It's Miss MS McGill, McGill. You can check us out there. Again, thank our partners, C4. Like I said, pre-workout, protein powders. One of my favorites, the amino acids, and this is that icy blue raz, like a raspberry, like those. Used to get those when we were kids. We'd get those raspberry slushies, Slurpees. Tastes just like it. C4 Energy. Links will be below. And then also, where's my favorite little Chomps meat stick? Like I said, vegan, paleo, everything. If you're still on the diet for the new year, everything there. keto, Whole30, everything approved with Chomp. So with that, we'll sign off, and we will catch you all in the next video. And like I said, happy betting with the Super Bowl. Take care and stay warm, everybody. Stay warm. See ya.